Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Jared Anderson, Martin Bakole. Fight prediction here and now. Better late than never. And we talk about these two warriors in the ring, one old, one unproven. And let me counterpunch. And as I counterpunch, we first have to mention the tale of the tape. Jared Anderson coming in at age 24 compared to Martin Bakole, which is 31, which is fairly young. October 26, 2019 was Jared Anderson's debut, which for Martin Bakole, it was March 25th, 2014. So he's been in the game for a while. Despite Jared Anderson having 17 wins, no losses, Martin Bakole only has one loss, and that's to Michael Hunter. And they haven't had any title fights because none of them were a champion. KOs, 15 KOs for Jared Anderson, 15 KOs for Martin Bakole. Okay, now that's an 88.2% compared to 71.4%. Okay, and in height, 193 centimeters compared to 198 centimeters for Martin Bakole. So he's a little taller. He's maybe 6'5" compared to 6'4" for Jared Anderson in American terms here, people. Orthodox for orthodox, even though Jared Anderson is known to switch hit. Okay. Last fight, April 13th, 2024. Last fight for Martin Bakole was October 28th. 2023. Okay, layoff 3 months and 21 days for Jared Anderson, saying that in 9 months and 6 days for Martin Bakole. 17 win streak for unbeaten Jared Anderson and 9 win streak for Martin Bakole. And let me counterpunch. First off, this is for both fighters, their time to shine. Okay. I mean, we've had Jared Anderson taking on guys like Charles Martin, which was pretty much an unproven champion because he won the IBF belt by, weird circumstances. Okay, it wasn't the most honorable, due to injury of the other fighter. So, then he gets knocked out by Anthony Joshua, but nonetheless, he is still a former champion. And Charles Martin gave him a go. And we learned a lot about Jared Anderson in that fight. We learned that he can take a punch. We learned that he wasn't necessarily chinny, but he can be hurt, okay? But not chinny. So that's a difference. This is a heavyweight division, okay? One punch, can change the whole fight. Okay, so that's that about Jared Anderson. But other than that, though, Jerry Forrest, now Martin Bakole. Martin Bakole is probably the most dangerous as of now until we see the fight. Why? Because Martin Bakole himself hasn't really beat a lot of guys. He's beat, Carlos Takam, Tony Yoka, these guys like that he's beaten. But those guys, Carlos Takam is a journeyman, which he's been beaten by a lot of people. And Tony Yoka was a guy that basically, didn't live up to his amateur career. Okay, so he's been beaten before, and Martin Bakole is one of them. But I'll say this about this fight. Martin Bakole has made a reputation, as you guys know, of stating or claiming what he did to other heavyweights that are way past, or that are already either champions or were champions or about to be champions or fighting for a championship. And that includes Joe Joyce, Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua, and etc. And he's, blasting. He's doing like a Jaguar right. He's coming out and blasting all these guys, saying, I hurt those guys. It was me. And that's why they don't want to fight me. And they don't want to give me the opportunity because they know that I'm a dangerous mofo. And they don't want to give me that title shot because they know what will happen, because they know what happened. Okay. That's Martin Bakole's claim. It makes it interesting, but it's a high-stake gamble, okay? Because if he goes in there and gets like obliterated by Jared Anderson, he will look like a fool. That just a guy that talked a lot of shit for clout and didn't live up to the hype. Bottom line. But here's the thing about Martin Bakole. I think that Martin Bakole is very dangerous. I think he's very heavy-handed. The jab is always constantly going. Jared Anderson's, he has to worry about a seasoned jab. And I think Martin Bakole has a seasoned jab, the jab that's always coming at you, and he sets it up. He sets it up, the jab, and the way he throws a right hand, it's designed for someone that protects in front of their face because it's going around the guard. Okay, so when it's going around the guard, it can hit here, it can hit here. If you look at Martin Bakole's fights, you notice he'll jab and then he'll throw a right hook over. It's almost like an Andy Ruiz punch because Andy, normally he's the shorter guy in the ring and he comes wide. Martin Bakole's a taller guy, but he just throws it wide to land that shot behind the guards, okay? And he punches around those guards, and those punches hurt. He's taken out a lot of people, okay, with those punches. So he's definitely heavy-handed. I'm going to tell you something else. The body punches, okay, the body punches that Martin Bakole delivers is tough too. And he's a pressure fighter. So Jared Anderson, the keys of victory for him, he has to keep moving like I think he knows to do. And I think once he feels the power of Martin Bakole, he's going to know. But understand, like I've already addressed at the beginning, Jared Anderson is no punk. Jared Anderson is not a chinny guy. But I think Jared Anderson has come to a fighter that is his crossroads. I think Martin Bakole is exactly that. I think Martin Bakole is a guy that will push it to the limit. He's a guy that will give you what you're asking for. You know what I mean? So this is a very interesting fight. It's a do or die fight. For Jared Anderson, it stops, his streak. For Martin Bakole, if he loses, it'll make him look like a fool because, for one, he's made a reputation of saying what goes on in sparring, and everyone knows it's pretty much taboo, an unspoken word, to talk about what goes on in sparring. Like, why would that matter if someone hired you to help them and you hurt them? Why would you care to share that to the world? You know what I mean? So I just don't think that was culture or that had showed really true character, what you're claiming you did in sparring. Unless there are people that just really overlooked him. What if this shit's true? Now, if it is true, and Martin Bakole does go out there and gives Jared Anderson the blues, well, we'll know what's going on in that fight. We'll know what happens at this point. I think it's going to be a very interesting fight. I think Martin Bakole, he lost to Michael Hunter, even though that was a good fight, okay? Make it no mistake, Michael Hunter beat Martin Bakole. Sure, he was more athletic. He was younger at the time. Not too much younger. I mean, well, he's 35 now. So, no, that's a lie. Michael Hunter's 35. So, Michael Hunter was the most even fight because he's 35 right now. So, what he was to do, he used his athleticism, speed, agility, and Martin Bakole ran out of gas. It wasn't the fact that Michael Hunter hit him and hurt him all that much. Martin Bakole just ran out of the gas, and the question is, that comes down to strength and conditioning. Okay, so it depends on what type of shape Martin Bakole is in. Is he only worried about what he did in sparring? Because if he's trying to make a hustle off something that happened in yesteryear, he's going to be mistaken and very disappointed in the present day. Because that means he's not focused on the present day. But if he is focused and he is hungry, I think he has something to prove. He may go for the upset. And if he does beat Jared Anderson, would it be such an upset? No. Because both of these guys need each other at this point of time. It was a good fight to be made. I do favor Jared Anderson just because he's younger, just because he's fast, and he shows similar attributes to what Michael Hunter showed Martin Bakole, that he gave him the blues. But you guys tell me what you think about this fight prediction between Jared Big Baby Anderson and Martin Bakole. Of course, please subscribe. You guys been Counterpunch. Hey!